Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we're going to be talking about Project Hail Mary, except not this one. This one, the book. We're going to be talking about that by Andy Weir. And if you don't know him, he's the guy who wrote The Martian. And I'm going to be honest with you, I have The Martian on my shelf. I'm not planning on reading it anytime soon because I'm going to ruffle a lot of feathers with this one. I don't think Project Hail Mary is that great. I don't know if it's because I've been reading harder things, per se, or what, but this book is really predictable. I don't know, if you have, watched a bunch of movies because you have a friend that's into movies and you want to relate with them a little bit, so you watch a bunch of them so you get a feel for how stories move along and you understand foreshadowing, or you read a bunch of books and you read something like The Count of Monte Cristo where the foreshadowing is so subtle you don't even notice it. The foreshadowing here is so obvious so many times. And it's crazy because this book starts off so good. It literally starts off with our protagonist waking up not knowing who he is in this white room and a robotic arm messing with him, and he can't even speak. You find out what happens to him. Basically, I'm going to give you the rundown of this. There is something in this universe called astrophage. I'm just going to call it what it is, even though it's mentioned what it's called like 100 pages into the book. It is this microorganism that is eating up the sun, and it is rapidly accelerating the sun's decay, causing people to freak out because they're like, in the next 9 years or so, I think they said, it wasn't 9 years because that doesn't line up. I think it was past like 30-something years. They're like, if, this continues, the whole world is going to be just frozen, a frozen wasteland in 30 or so years. I don't remember the exact date, if I'm being completely honest. It's definitely not 9. That doesn't line up. So they send him into space to try and find a solution on how to deal with this astrophage. And you pick up bits and pieces as he remembers who he is throughout this. And you end up realizing, as he realizes he's like, I'm a scientist. You start to realize, okay, wait. He was clearly put on this mission. And what he's on is Project Hail Mary. It is literally a Hail Mary to save humanity. And they send him into space with 2 other people. He wakes up. You literally find this out in the first few pages of the book, so don't worry. Both his companions are dead as hell. But what got me interested in this is... I hope this is the right image. Ryan Gosling is going to be Ryland Grace, the protagonist in the movie that's coming out in like a month. It's February 5th. I think it's coming out in March. And I was like, oh my gosh, one of my favorite movies has Ryan Gosling as the protagonist, Blade Runner 2049. I was like, oh my gosh. I didn't like Drive as much, but he was alright in that. So why not, I'm a consumer. I like that actor. Why would I not watch it? Well, now, I want to watch it less after reading the book. If I'm being completely honest, there were so many moments in this book I was able to predict what was going to happen, and I don't know. No one is mentioning it in the reviews, and they're praising it for how good it is, and I don't understand it. It's okay. I think the beginning is honestly, like, the less you know, I think the better it is. You get spoon-fed all this stuff as the book progresses. If I'm not mistaken, it's around like 500 pages. It's a decently long book, and by the end of it, you're like, you can kind of put the puzzle pieces together, and the book still spoon feeds it to you like you're a toddler. And I don't like that. It annoys the hell out of me. One thing I am curious on is how Rocky is going to be taken by the masses, and Rocky is this little spindly creature, right? This is fan art made of the book. He is this spider-like alien that you come across. And I will say, I did enjoy the back and forth between Rocky and Ryland Grace in this book as they learn to communicate with one another, because at the start of the book, he comes up and meets him because he sees Blip A, that's what he calls Rocky's ship, out in the distance, and he waves at it, and then it waves back, and he's like, oh my gosh, are these humans? What are they? And then they like connect their ships, and his arm comes through so he doesn't see all of him, and obviously it scares the shit out of him because it's like this long arm with 3 like finger things that do not look human. They end up seeing one another, and they can't really communicate. They kind of just have to start off with yes and no's, and then they slowly add to their repertoire in terms of linguistics. But also, another fun thing about this book, I don't know how much they're going to do in the movie, obviously. One thing I really enjoyed was the chemistry and physics bits. They definitely used basic physics and chemistry in this. I've taken high school chemistry and physics and college chemistry and physics, and all the stuff they were talking about in the book was stuff that I knew. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I don't think a scientist would just be using this in space, personally. Which is probably why in some bits they say, I did some math, but more often than not, they did use certain formulas that I am completely aware with, and I'm sure some of you are also aware with. Like, calculate, like, one really fun bit, since he's in this white room, and he doesn't really understand, he wants to know where he's at, he calculates the gravity to try and understand where he's at. Well, he's like, well, I kind of have an idea, like, I know what Earth's gravity is, but it's clearly... Oh, that's right, he falls, and he's like, that felt weird. So then he calculates the gravity, and he realizes it's a lot more than Earth's. I think it ends up saying like 15 meters per second squared. Something else I found really weird in this book is they say it's the same thing, but this is a knock on my end that I found it annoying. Anytime they said meters per second squared, they'd say meters per second, and I'm like, dude, what are we doing here? Just say meters per second squared. It's not that deep. But maybe there's something I don't know about units that, you know, you say per second because of this or that. I don't know. I would highly recommend... I don't know. I think you should just watch the movie at this point. I remember really liking The Martian. I haven't read the book, and if The Martian turns out like Project Hail Mary, where the book is okay, but, you know, I really like the movie, I might just say go watch the movie when it comes out. I personally don't think this book is worth your time. That's just me personally. I will end up reading The Martian, but yeah, this was a little disappointing. I kind of like there to be some ambiguousness. That's probably why I like the start of the book so much, but man, by the end, like, I kind of have an idea, like, okay, he didn't want to go on this mission. You don't have to feed it to me through these little flashbacks multiple times. It's just like, dude, I don't need to know he didn't want to go on this mission for the 3rd time. I understand it. I get it. I don't know. It kind of reads... this was something else as I was getting through it. I kind of wanted to bring it up. This feels like a book that'll probably be read in schools in a few years, not few years, like 10 years. It just has this air about it that seems so PG that it feels like it'll be read in schools. And I don't know how I feel about that, because I'm currently reading The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, and holy moly, I wish that was something that had a sliver of a chance of being read in schools. It definitely won't be, but man, it's so good. I'll talk about that when I finish Way of Kings, and I'll tell you how I'm going to go about the Cosmere when we get there. But yeah, Project Hail Mary, I'm going to say it's mid. I don't want to say it's on the same level as Sapiens, because I think I said that book was mid, so 5 out of 10. I would say Project Hail Mary is better than Sapiens. They're two completely different books. Sapiens is nonfiction focusing on the history of mankind, and this is a science fiction book on saving humanity. But yeah, I don't know. I got really annoyed when I predicted what was going to happen or why something was told to me, for the 9th time. I got annoyed with it. I don't like it. I like my expectations being subverted. I hate being able to predict what's going to happen. And unfortunately, I can get over it if it's once, twice, maybe 3 times. But man, over the course of 500 pages, and I've done it like 9 times, I'm tired, man. I'm tired of this. So yeah, I'd have to say it's a 5 out of 10 for me. Maybe you will have a better experience with it, not having like a physics or chemistry background and not understanding any of the math that's said, and you're like, oh, cool numbers, or something like that. Like, oh, he's calculating gravity, how smart. And it's like, it's not actually that deep, I'm telling you, but maybe you'll have a better time with it than me. There's a lot of fan art with it, and it clearly got made into a movie for a reason. I'm just a hater, I guess. But yeah, 5 out of 10 for me. That's about it. See ya.